So, with Clash coming out today, the Kaijudo website decided they were going to finally go ahead and reveal everything for the set for us. So, there's everything that we haven't seen in the set yet, because we've seen, less than half of it. We now know what all of it is. Um, I'll try and only stick to the stuff that we haven't seen before, but I may talk about something that's been spoiled already. Um, Containment Field. This potentially could be a Storm Spark of sorts. Storm Spark's just so good in the fact that you get it in shields and you're safe. Containment Field doesn't give you as much a protection like that. Um, but if you're in a particular build that commits a lot to the field, this could potentially be a really strong card while saving you a little bit of mana if you have to hardcast it. So I'm sort of 50-50 on how Containment Field might end up seeing play or not. I really like Keeper. This has been spoiled already. Untargetable while you control another creature, and every time your opponent casts a spell, you can draw a card. I like the draw support that Light's getting. I really love this card. I don't know where or if it's going to see play or not at the moment, but it's definitely something that I'll probably keep my hands on a playset of. I feel like it's going to have its place at some point in time or another. I just don't know exactly in what or where yet. We get these new 2-drop Evos. There's a couple of them in the set. You get a 4,500 fast attack and block on turn 2. So it's a really nice progression off something like Magris or Chasm Entangler. I'd rather do it over Magris than Chasm, but that's if you're also playing the Magris. Chances are, unless you're playing Mono Light, which isn't a smart idea anyways, you're not playing Magris, but the option is there for something. That's about it that matters for Light. Onto water, we already know Corile. Cyclones, bounce one of yours, bounce one of theirs. Each controller gets to pick. I kind of like this card. I don't know whether it'll see play or not. Aquean Ranger Commander, this is Crystal Lancer. It costs 1 less and it's 1,000 less power, but we finally do have Lancer that everyone's been talking about since this game began. Unfortunately, it has to revolve off an Aquean. They're trying to push some Aquean support, but I still don't think it's enough that's going to make our Lancer playable yet or not. We did get Reef Scout, which is our upgrade to Hydrospy. This guy actually might see play in the fact that he's what Hydrospy sort of wishes it could be. If I remember right, Hydrospy is only 1,000. So we get I'm pretty sure it's that power boost, but you also have a blocker as well. So I expect to see this guy seeing play. Tenuous Trove is sort of a mix between Trial and Error and Logo Scan. It could potentially see play, especially if things are using cards like Dreadclaw, but don't want more turn 5 plays that you have out of Trial and Error. So Tenuous might be decent. You have a 1-turn Detain in Time Rhyme, which isn't bad at all. Gregoria is interesting. Search their hand. Each player searches or reveals hand and pitches a spell. I really don't like this guy at all. Gregoria's Fortress, however, is awesome. Between this and Ripper Reaper and some of the Slayer mechanics that we get going, there's massive ways that you can abuse sacking off shit on your opponent's field through Gregoria's effect and whatnot. Mesmerize, turn 3 puppet that's a spell. This card pretty much redefines the entire game. If you're not playing 3 of this card in the next meta, I almost guarantee you are going to lose. Everything will play Dark because everything has to play Mesmerize, which is why I love the card and hate the card. I love it because it is so fucking awesome. But unfortunately, it's that one card that, if anything, is probably the first card I believe to be limit/ban list worthy eventually. Yeah, it's going to be Mesmerize Wars, this entire format, so have fun with that. Shapeshifter is awesome. This was spoiled yesterday. Evo's on top of anything, and anything can Evo from it. And if it were banished, well, it's the top card on the stack. So if you Evo on top of it, you're not going to get this effect. But if it's on top of the stack, it has recursion. So you just have this infinitely playable Evo that's freaking awesome. Opens up all sorts of new opportunities for rush decks also. Solsticism is like a miniature Death Smoke of sorts. Suffocate I don't care for too much. It has some potential. Its darkness is barrage, so you have control of birds for the people that are still going to stick with the dragon meta, which I don't expect to be near as strong with this set. It also doesn't target since it does everything, so it drops Immolator to 15,000, which allows you to run it over with things like Flame Spike and Iron Vine, which we'll get to in a moment. Toxic Fog is absolute trash. Never play that card. The only thing I care for in Fire, for the most part, is some of the Drakon support. Bruiser's not bad for outs to things like Umbra and Nyx, as well as progressing into the Evos that the Drakon Rush deck tends to do. Jump Jets may see some play, but I'm not sure yet as far as certain rush builds go. I'm very iffy. Spinner has potential, but I don't know if it can be consistent enough yet. If you have another creature with fast attack, it gets fast attack. Megalars is an 11,000 double breaking Dragon's Breath, which is pretty nutty. If you're playing this, you should probably be playing Hyperspeed and things and almost a more dedicated Armored Dragon build. Definitely will see play, but I don't know whether or not it'll be the best type of choice for the meta. I almost guarantee it won't be the best, but it does have a lot of potential. Another 2-drop Evo, which I think I skipped one up here. Yes, Rody Gale. Here you have a turn 2 blocker, 4,500 fast attack, and here you've got a 4,000 that can't be attacked. Some really good Evo bait there. On to nature. Jackalax pretty much replaces Moonheller Tribe for the Sabertooth progression. Iron Vine, double breaker that swings at 16k. That has a lot of potential on the right builds. What I'm actually most excited about for this set, now that it's all been spoiled, is Megabugs. Tick. You can look at the top 4 and put a Megabug from them into your hand. The rest go to the bottom. This card is absolutely really good, especially when you combo it in with a couple other things we'll get to in a minute. Reinforce is pretty much the same thing, but you can add anything you want. We have a new vanilla. On to some of the multi-civ shit. Elvan, you have Blinder Beetle plus give unblockable to something. I really like that guy, and he's an Enforcer Cyberlord, so some really good races. I expect to see that scene played. Piercing Judgment is amazing. It's Veil Vortex plus tap a creature, so a lot of control options that allows. I expect to see this played in 3s in all sorts of decks. Every color set has one of these quartz things that gives 1,000 power to each of its 2 civilizations. So if you have another dual civ card, it will gain 2,000. So there's all sorts of options there. I don't know if those are going to see play or not. I don't particularly care for them. But if you were to have one of these, that like Dawnflower, that boosts up your natures, and then be able to swing into Immolator with something like Iron Vine. There are outs to Immolator, broke as we thought it was. The biggest one, of course, being Mesmerize. Of course, we still have Puppet and things also. Swordhorn, by far the most awesome vanilla ever. 5,500 Enforcer Beastkin. Cobalt Control with Saber and some other tech stuff could be really huge. I personally like Homunculon. Tap, and then another one of your creatures gets plus 3,000 power. All sorts of shenanigans you can do with something like Homunculon, especially in the tap control deck, like the Alcatus builds that I did for fun that actually worked. This thing's interesting. Put a level 6 or less from your hand into the battle zone, and it gets blocker until the start of your next turn. So if anything, this could just be used to make a play, like just for example, because it's the first level 6 I see, Blade Seer. Play this card for 1 less mana, and it gets blocker. You know what? That's kind of cool. I like Starseed a lot. 4,000. All your creatures get plus 2,000 whenever you cast a spell. This and some rush builds gives you some massive advantage, especially because once anything has 6,000 power, it gets Double Breaker. So cast one spell and summon this, and it becomes a Double Breaker itself. I really like the potential that that card has. This guy's interesting. When he's tapped, they can't attack anything but him. Freakish Test Subject, a Cyberlord and a Chimera. As far as Blurple goes, this guy is amazing. He's unblockable and Slayer for 3. That gives you access to all of your Evos. He's probably just as good, if not better, than Swordhorn will be for its particular deck. Grip of Despair is Veil Vortex plus Spectre Claw. So similar to Piercing Judgment being Veil Vortex plus Sunspark. But since it's a discard, I mean, it is one more expensive, and I'm perfectly okay with this. Now that we've seen this, I fully expect to see a progression of turn 2 Spectre Claw, turn 3 Mesmerize, turn 4 Fumes, turn 5 Grip of Despair, turn 6 Puppet. And there's not going to be need for Skull Shatter. Spelljacker's interesting. It might see play in one-ofs, but I don't expect to see any more than that. Burn Fingers I like, specifically just because it's a level 2 Chimera. It breaks your own shield if it dies, but I just like it for Evo progression. Galzak, as far as Armored Dragon support goes, could be really good whenever it swings. Minus 3,000 to them, plus 3,000 to you. So all these sorts of power swings that this set gives is pretty awesome. Cronax's ability to give Slayer and whatnot, and then attack untaps. This guy is a direct out to emulator. If you're playing Darkness Fire. This, along with Gregorio, along with Ripper Reaper, and some other Slayer effects and whatnot, all sorts of advantage that can be had there. If you're playing Black Feather, it's an awesome draw engine. Soul Vortex is interesting. Banish 3,000 or less, and then add a 4 or less from your grave to your hand. So you get destruction and recursion. It's nice. Fight will do all sorts of shenanigans this format. Expect to see some fun stuff with that. Steam Tank, being part Megabug, gives all sorts of awesome stuff that you can do with the new Megabugs here. We can go back to Swarm Leader, and another one that we're about to get to. In the supers, we have the 2 from the structure. Sasha's been spoiled, Titurnus has been spoiled, Liger was spoiled yesterday. If it is unblocked when you attack with it, you get to banish a creature that's level 6 or less, so that's really nice. Infernus, but Hive Queen is probably my most favorite card of the set right now. It's a Megabug evolution that pretty much does the same thing as the other Tick does. But you only reveal 3 and then put any non-Evo that's level 5 or less. So this can get you into things like Steam Tank, and potentially I could see Megabug being a 5 civilization sort of rush control deck. That'll be really fun. Truth Seeker was spoiled forever ago. Guardian Akaltik, I plan on playing this guy. 3 of this guy, 3 of Andromeda, 3 Lepidus, probably playing Bestial Rage Tetsurion. Ramp up mana, get into these guys, tap shit down, win battles, shatter shields. Awesome. This guy was spoiled a while back. I don't really care for him. Both players lose their hands. Yada 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 yada. But we did finally get to see the Dark Fire Super, which is actually 2 different dragon types. Personally, I don't care for this guy at all. Something gets minus 2,000 power. And then if a creature dies, all your other creatures get fast attack. The way I could see this having potential play is if you have some birds on board, because I wouldn't want to be paying more than maybe like 6 for this guy. To drop him and then let his effect kill one of their birds, and then you pay another, say, like 4 to drop Lyra and tap something down, but now your Lyra has fast attack because something else has died. Um, so, depending on the ruling, it doesn't say all face-up creatures you control. Um, it just says all your creatures, so I'm assuming if you summon this guy first and kill something, whatever you summon after it is going to get fast attack. But anyways, that is the entirety of the set. I see a lot of really fun stuff going on here. The meta is definitely going to shift, and Mesmerize is most certainly going to be the center of the entire game. So everybody, including myself, that has post-Clash KMCs, have fun with Mesmerize Wars. Peace out.